I've been with my girlfriend Sarah for about 18 months. I'm a 28-year-old guy and Sarah is 26. We live in Portland, Oregon. Her entire family, parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, the whole extended group, lives here too. They're incredibly tight-knit, always gathering for every occasion, from birthdays to holidays to casual dinners. My family, on the other hand, is in North Carolina. My parents, brother, sister, and extended relatives. I relocated to Portland 3 years ago for a job, and due to distance and expenses, I only visit home twice a year, typically Christmas and either Easter or summer, depending on my work schedule and flight costs. The problem is Sarah's family expects us to attend every single event with them. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, Independence Day, New Year's, plus all birthdays and random get-togethers. When I mentioned wanting to visit my family for Christmas this year, Sarah's mom had a complete breakdown. She insisted it was a family tradition to always be together and accused me of being self-centered for wanting to take Sarah away. Sarah's stuck in the middle, and I feel awful, but I think my request is fair. I proposed alternating holidays. 1 year Christmas with my family, Thanksgiving with hers, and switching the next year. Or maybe spending Christmas Eve with her family and traveling to mine for Christmas Day. But her mom rejected every suggestion, saying holidays are sacred family time, and that if I truly cared for Sarah, I'd respect that. The thing is, I love Sarah, which is why I want her to meet my family and build a connection with them. My parents have only seen her through video calls, and my siblings haven't met her at all. My family only gathers fully once a year at Christmas because my brother works offshore and my sister lives in Atlanta. Sarah says she wants to meet my family, but every time we plan a trip, her family guilts her into staying. Her mom will call, sobbing about how hurt she is that Sarah would choose my family over them. Her dad makes remarks about me pulling her away. Her siblings act like they're no longer important when she mentions visiting my family. I'm starting to feel like the villain for wanting to see my own family, who I only visit twice a year, while Sarah sees hers constantly. Am I wrong for not wanting to spend every holiday with her family? Am I selfish for wanting her to meet mine? Edit. Some have asked about Sarah's perspective. She wants to meet my family and knows it's important, but she's extremely close to her family and has never missed a major holiday with them. She struggles with anxiety about disappointing people, especially her parents, and is in therapy for it, though family issues remain a major trigger. Comment 1. You're not the asshole. Sarah's family is being manipulative and controlling. Expecting her to never miss a single holiday after a year and a half together is a red flag. You're not asking her to cut them off forever, just for balance. Sarah needs to establish boundaries, or this will escalate. OP. Reply, I've been doubting myself a lot. Boundaries are tough for Sarah because she's always been the compliant daughter who avoids conflict. Her older brother moved to Seattle years ago and faced major drama when he started spending holidays with his girlfriend's family. Sarah saw how upset her parents were and fears the same reaction. Her family isn't outright rude to me, they're polite and include me. But there's an unspoken expectation that I conform to their plans. They'll schedule a family trip and inform us of the dates without asking if we're free, or plan a cousin's baby shower the same weekend I'd arranged to visit my family, then act like I'm the problem for pointing out the clash. They seem unable to fathom why anyone would live far from family. Sarah's mom, who's never lived more than 20 minutes from her own parents, has said my choice to move across the country for work was odd and selfish, implying it's sad for my parents that I abandoned them. In her eyes, I'm already the guy who prioritizes career over family, and now I'm pushing Sarah to do the same. Comment 2. Everyone sucks here, but mostly Sarah's family. They're manipulative, but Sarah needs to take responsibility too. She's an adult in a committed relationship and should advocate for you both as a couple. Letting her family guilt her into staying for every holiday isn't fair to you or your relationship. OP. Reply. I appreciate the perspective because I know I'm not perfect either. I've probably been too sharp in some conversations and got frustrated when Sarah canceled plans with my family last minute due to some emergency her family demanded she attend. You're right that Sarah needs to stand up more, but it's complicated. As the youngest of 3, she's always been the family peacemaker. When her parents argue, they vent to her. When her siblings have issues, she's the fixer. Her family has conditioned her to prioritize their emotional needs over her own, and breaking that habit is tough. She's working on it in therapy, making small steps like not answering her mom's calls during our dates and calling back later. It's progress, but it's slow. Comment 3. Not the asshole. I've dealt with similar family dynamics. My ex's family treated me like I was stealing him every time we visited my family. It never improved, and it ultimately ended our relationship because he couldn't stand up to them. You need to talk seriously with Sarah about your future together because this pattern will affect everything. Weddings, kids, big decisions. Her family will always expect to come first. OP. Reply, that's exactly my fear. We've discussed marriage and I keep wondering what that would look like. Would we have to hold the wedding here so her family doesn't travel? Live within 20 minutes of her parents forever? If we have kids, would her mom expect to be in the delivery room? Would every vacation include her siblings and their kids? I love Sarah and want a life with her, but I want it to be our life, not an extension of her family's demands. When we're alone, Sarah admits their expectations are overwhelming and says she wants more independence. But when her mom cries or her dad guilt trips her, she gives in. I've tried to be patient, but I'm tired of feeling guilty for wanting normal things like spending Christmas with my parents or planning a trip that isn't dictated by her family's schedule. Comment 4. You're the asshole. Family is everything. And if you truly loved Sarah, you'd understand how much her family means to her. You chose to move across the country, so you made your choice. Sarah shouldn't have to sacrifice her close family ties because you decided to live far from yours. Maybe move back to North Carolina if your family is so important. OP. Reply. I don't usually respond to heavily downvoted comments, but this feels like something Sarah's mom would say. Kidding, sort of. Moving across the country wasn't a light decision. I took a job with better pay, benefits, and career growth than anything in North Carolina. Sarah and I have discussed possibly moving closer to my family someday, but right now, our careers are here. The idea that I should give up my family because hers lives nearby doesn't add up. I'm not asking Sarah to choose between me and her family. I'm asking for fairness. I see my family twice a year. She sees hers multiple times a month. Isn't it reasonable to include my family in our holiday plans sometimes? Also, the family comes first argument works both ways. If family is so important, shouldn't Sarah want to build a relationship with my family too? Shouldn't her family care about her happiness and our relationship? Right now, it feels like only her family matters and mine is just an inconvenience. Update. A few months ago, I posted about the holiday issue with Sarah's family. Many suggested alternating holidays and setting firm boundaries, which seemed fair. We decided to try it. Thanksgiving with her family, Christmas with mine. We booked flights to North Carolina for December 22nd and informed her family in early November, giving plenty of notice. At first, Sarah's mom seemed disappointed but accepting. That lasted 2 days. Then the pressure started. It began with subtle comments at family dinners like, "This will be our first Christmas without Sarah," or, "I guess our family is shrinking." Then Sarah's older sister Emily got involved. She has 2 kids, 8 and 5, and told them Aunt Sarah wouldn't be there for Christmas. The kids got upset, asking Sarah why she was leaving them. She explained we'd be back for New Year's, but her 5-year-old nephew cried, asking if she didn't love them anymore. The week before Thanksgiving, Sarah's mom called, sobbing, saying she couldn't sleep thinking about Christmas. She mentioned looking forward to Sarah meeting her cousin's new boyfriend's family, which wouldn't happen because we were abandoning them. Sarah started losing sleep, barely eating, and was constantly anxious, checking her phone for family messages. I suggested she discuss it with her therapist, which helped a bit, but the stress was overwhelming. Thanksgiving was the breaking point. At Sarah's parents' house, things seemed fine initially. But during dinner, her mom gave a toast about cherishing family time, since we don't know how many holidays we'll have together. She started crying, saying how much she'd miss Sarah at Christmas. After dinner, the family staged an intervention, sitting Sarah down and taking turns expressing how hurt they were that she chose my family over theirs. Sarah had a full-blown panic attack, hyperventilating, shaking, unable to speak. I took her home early and she spent the night crying, saying she couldn't handle letting everyone down. We canceled the North Carolina trip. I'm heartbroken and angry, but mostly worried about Sarah. The guilt and manipulation triggered a severe reaction. She needed medication and missed 2 days of work. She kept apologizing for letting me down, which made me feel worse. My family was understanding when I canceled, saying, "We'll miss you both, but we get that family dynamics are tough. There's always next year." The contrast between their reaction and Sarah's family's behavior was stark. We spent Christmas with Sarah's family as usual. I sent my parents a nice gift and called them Christmas morning, but it wasn't the same. Sarah was anxious and quiet all day, despite giving her family what they wanted. I don't know what to do now. Sarah wants to try again next year, but I'm not sure I can handle this again, and I don't know if she can withstand the pressure. I love her, but I'm questioning if this relationship can work if her family always comes first. Has anyone dealt with something like this? How do you handle a partner's family using emotional manipulation to get their way? Comment 1. Not the asshole. As someone from a North Carolina family, we understand people have their own lives and can't always come home for holidays. Your family's gracious response to the cancellation versus Sarah's family's intervention shows which family is healthier. OP. Reply. The difference between our family's approaches is like night and day. When I told my parents we couldn't come, my dad said, "That's disappointing, but we'll manage." Is Sarah okay? This sounds tough for her. My family gets that long-distance relationships require compromise. My brother lived in California for a while, and we didn't expect him home every holiday. My sister missed Christmas once while studying abroad, and no one guilt-tripped her. Sarah's family, though, has never dealt with anyone living far away. Her brother in Seattle was the first to move, and they still haven't accepted it, treating it like a betrayal. What frustrates me is they frame their behavior as love and closeness, but it feels controlling. Love should support someone's growth and choices, not manipulate them into compliance. Update 2. I'm not sure if I'm seeking advice anymore or just venting to people who might get it. After last year's Thanksgiving disaster where Sarah had a panic attack, we spent Christmas with her family as usual. But we agreed to stick to alternating holidays going forward, no matter the pressure. Sarah's therapist helped her prepare responses to guilt trips, and we felt ready. In March, we booked flights for Easter with my family in North Carolina, giving her family 2 months' notice. We framed it positively, sharing how excited my parents were to meet Sarah and how my sister planned a big Easter brunch. Her family's response was icy, not the tears and drama from before, just cold disapproval. Her mom said, "I see you've made your decision," and her dad said, "I hope it's worth it." But they didn't stop us, which we thought was progress. Easter was wonderful. My family adored Sarah. My mom showed her old family photos and shared embarrassing stories about my childhood. My sister took her shopping, bonding over their shared love of books. My brother taught her a card game, and by the end of the weekend, she was winning. Sarah said she hadn't felt so relaxed in months. But when we returned to Portland, things changed. Her family became distant. Family dinners tapered off, and they stopped inviting us to smaller gatherings. Sarah would learn after the fact that everyone had gone to her aunt's for dinner, with excuses like, "We thought you were busy," or "We didn't want to bother you since you have other priorities." In June, Sarah's cousin Lily announced her engagement. Sarah and Lily, only 6 months apart, grew up like sisters and were very close. Sarah assumed she'd be a bridesmaid, but Lily didn't ask her, saying she was keeping the wedding party small and chose her college friends. Sarah was hurt but tried to be supportive. We assumed we'd still be invited as guests, especially since her whole family would attend. 2 weeks ago, Sarah found out we weren't invited at all. She saw Lily's Instagram post about mailing invitations with the guest list visible. Sarah's name wasn't on it. When Sarah called Lily, she was evasive, citing limited venue space and tough choices. But Sarah's other cousins, siblings, parents, and even family friends were invited. Sarah confronted Lily's mom, her aunt, who admitted the family decided that since Sarah was prioritizing other relationships, she didn't need to be included in family events anymore. Her aunt claimed it wasn't personal against me, but Sarah had shown where her loyalties lay, and they were protecting themselves from further disappointment. Sarah's been a mess since. She's barely eating, crying constantly, and oscillating between anger at her family and anger at me. Yesterday, she said if I hadn't pushed her to go to North Carolina for Easter, this wouldn't have happened. She feels I've ruined her family ties and isn't sure she can forgive me. I reminded her I didn't force her. She wanted to meet my family, enjoyed the trip, and felt happier than she had in months. But she's not hearing it. She's desperate to regain her family's approval, even if it means never spending holidays with my family again. I love Sarah, but it feels like a losing battle. Her family has made it clear they won't accept me or our relationship unless I fully comply with their demands. Now, they're punishing Sarah for having any independence. Has anyone faced this? Does it ever improve? Or are some family dynamics too toxic to overcome? Comment 1. I've planned weddings for 15 years, and Sarah's family's actions are deliberate and cruel. Excluding one family member from a wedding while inviting everyone else sends a clear message. This isn't about venue size or budget. It's about control and punishment. They're telling Sarah that stepping out of line means being cut off from family milestones. OP. Reply. I suspected the limited space excuse was nonsense, but hearing it from someone familiar with wedding planning confirms it. The cruelty stings because Sarah and Lily were so close. Lily was Sarah's maid of honor at her brother's wedding. They always dreamed of being in each other's weddings. For Lily to exclude Sarah entirely, not even as a guest, is a blatant statement about how the family sees her now. The timing feels intentional, too. The wedding's on Christmas Eve, another holiday obligation to make Sarah feel guilty for missing. It's like they're trapping us from every angle. Sarah thinks apologizing and promising to prioritize family events will get her re-invited, but I think that's their goal, to make her beg and vow never to choose me again. It's a power move masked as hurt feelings. They act like Sarah visiting my family for one holiday is the same as abandoning them entirely. If they can't handle one missed Easter after nearly 2 years together, how will they react to bigger life choices? Comment 2. Sarah isn't ready for a serious relationship right now. She's too entangled with her family to be a true partner. Until she can set boundaries and stop blaming you for their toxic behavior, this will keep hurting you both. You can't love someone enough to heal their family trauma for them. OP reply. That's tough to hear, but probably accurate. I've tried to be supportive while Sarah works through this in therapy, but she's not able to fully commit to our relationship. Every major decision, vacations, where to live, even weekend plans, gets filtered through, what will my family think? We can't move forward without considering their reactions. I love Sarah and believe she wants to change, but wanting and doing are different. She's so scared of losing her family that she's willing to sacrifice our relationship to please them. Her therapist is helping, but progress is slow. Every boundary she sets gets countered by her family's escalating tactics, like this wedding exclusion. I'm starting to think a break might be needed so Sarah can focus on herself without feeling torn between me and her family. It's not fair to either of us to keep struggling when she's not ready to prioritize us. Final update. It's been a while since my last post, and I wasn't sure I'd share again because things got really grim for a time. But many of you have asked for updates, and we've reached a point where I can reflect on what happened. After the wedding exclusion, Sarah hit rock bottom. She was barely eating, not sleeping, and missing work for 2 weeks. She was so desperate to mend things with her family that she considered drastic steps, like ending our relationship or moving back in with her parents to prove her loyalty. Her therapist suggested intensive therapy and time off work to address her family trauma. Sarah initially resisted admitting her family's behavior was abusive, but the wedding incident made it undeniable. For 3 weeks, Sarah stayed with a friend, cutting contact with both her family and me. It was the longest we'd gone without speaking since we started dating, and I braced for the possibility that she'd choose her family over us. But when she returned, something had changed. She was still grieving, but no longer blamed me. Therapy helped her see her family's manipulation and recognize their closeness as enmeshment, with love tied to conditions. Sarah chose to go low contact, sending a letter stating she needed space for her mental health and would skip family events for now. Her family's response was predictable: tears, accusations that her therapist was manipulating her, and demands to come home and talk. Sarah nearly gave in, but remembering how free she felt during Easter with my family kept her grounded. That weekend was the first time she'd felt truly happy without managing others' emotions. We resumed couples therapy to rebuild our relationship. It was tough. I had to work through my resentment over years of drama, and Sarah had to learn to prioritize her own desires over her family's approval. But it worked. Sarah started making choices based on what she wanted, not what her family expected. A few months ago, I proposed, and she said yes, without hesitating or worrying about her family's reaction. We're planning a small wedding next year with close friends and my family. Sarah chose not to invite her family, a difficult but necessary decision. Her family learned of the engagement through Sarah's social media post about her ring. Their reaction was intense: grief, anger, claims I'd stolen her, warnings she'd regret it. Her mom left a voicemail saying Sarah was throwing away everything for a man who'd never love her like her family. Sarah listened once, then deleted it, saying she felt more pity than anger. Over a year of therapy has given her tools to handle their manipulation. We're not fully no contact. She sends birthday and Christmas cards and is open to reconnecting if they seek therapy and acknowledge their behavior. But she's not waiting for them to change. Things aren't perfect. Sarah still grieves the family she thought she had, and holidays are tough without their traditions. She sometimes worries she's made the wrong choice, especially seeing happy family photos online. But overall, we're thriving. Sarah is healthier and happier, exploring hobbies and friendships she'd neglected. We're building a life based on our choices, not others' expectations. My family has embraced Sarah. My mom calls her weekly, and my sister's planning to attend our wedding. It's not the same as her own family, but it shows her what healthy relationships look like. I don't know if we'll ever reconcile with Sarah's family. Part of me hopes they'll see what they've lost and change, but we're not counting on it. We're creating our own family now, free from constant fear of judgment. For anyone facing similar family dynamics, it can improve, but it takes hard work, and the person dealing with the toxic family must prioritize their mental health over appeasing others. It's tough, but worth it. Thanks to everyone who supported me through this. It helped me feel less alone during some dark times.